Good morning, everyone. Today we're checking out a brand new video from Popcross Studios, but it's also the final episode of Fear of the Demon Hunters. When we last left off, Arava, aka the Queen of Fear herself, I had taken the Demontrix out of Vivian and placed it into her own chest, starting her own transformation into something. Yeah, now it's time to see what she becomes, how the story ends, and finally see the death of Zuviathan, and possibly the death of Arava. God, I really don't want her to die. She's actually redeemed herself. Like, come on! And she's being good, but no, of course, she just has to die before it can come to true fruition. And I'm calling it now. I don't want to call it, but I'm calling it. Let's go. This is gonna be an hour.
Previously on Fear of the Demon Hunters. The Demon Queen, Fear herself, aka Arava, had the majority of her powers taken away by the Archon demon Psychoperdilict, whom she now wants revenge on. This was after she had been the one who created the physical forms for the Archons, and after betraying a former friend of hers, Professor Dresden Oakland, who has now built the RAS Foundation that helps people like Arava turn their lives around and become better. After losing most of her powers, she was set on a path to search for an old artifact she'd made called the Demonitrix that allows the user to channel the bodies and powers of demons she's made, or who are made by demons she's made. The device was being held by the Predator
works on first and second generation demons.
Coalition of demon hunters, who were made specifically to fight back against Arava's demons. While trying to infiltrate them, she met Vivian Sabraya, a young woman who Arava had turned into a hornet demon after one of her own demons had nearly killed Viv. Viv had managed to take control of her demon form and had been keeping it a secret while occasionally using its abilities as a hunter. In spite of everything, Viv saw potential in Arava to redeem herself of her past actions. Reluctantly at first, they teamed up to start trying to kill the very demons Arava once commanded, including the demon general hunting her, Zuviathan. Viv began using the Demonitrix, and they also teamed up with fellow hunter Jax and one of Arava's essentially children, Capri, one of the Zodiac-like archangels.
Capri is one of her first, I guess you could say.
Odd little family of angels had split up years ago after some of the archangels converted into demons. Then a violent battle broke out between them all, in which some of the siblings were killed. After weeks of working with this little group they'd made, Arava found herself in a war with Zuviathan and his forces, as they revealed demonkind to the world in an all-out assault on Denver, Colorado. In the battle, Vivian...
You're probably wondering, why Denver? That's Vivian's hometown, so that's why Colorado.
...was badly injured enough that she couldn't transform into demons anymore, or even move. Arava decided to take the Demonitrix and put it in herself, then claimed that she was calling in some really powerful backup. Let's see what she meant in the final chapter of Fear of the Demon Hunters.
It's time to see how this ends.
Arava, wait! Vivian called helplessly as her ally leapt off the roof and hovered down towards the chaotic streets below. Viv couldn't even get up to see where she was going. Quickly, another problem arose, though. Coming crawling up the side of the building she and Capri were rested on came a familiar set of green eyes and a slimy tongue with a hand on its end. The chameleon demon, Camelofin, whom Viv had once transformed into, was clambering onto the roof and coming towards them. Capri had started healing Viv, but stopped and grabbed his weapon. Viv was frustrated that she couldn't help.
Even though it is very limited, we can kind of already tell which the creations he's calling in. And the antennae on the head, multiple arms, and a tie. She's calling in the techno demon. Damn it, you had just said his name and I can't remember.
But it quickly became clear that she wouldn't be needed for this battle, nor would Capri. Before the demon had gotten close, a spiky beast leapt onto the building and stabbed two sets of massive blade-like claws into Camelofin. It shrieked and writhed as it was raised into the air by a purple dinosaur demon and was hurled off the building, through the wall of another. The spiky demon looked down at Capri, then Viv. From her time in her Sorieklis form, she recognized this demon as one of his minions, Therazala's.
Ooh.
Despite her not having the
Okay.
Demonatrix or being in that form, the demon still gave her a slight bow, then leapt off the building towards its hurled opponent. Cop
Okay, no. That is actually still kind of cool. Last time in the previous episode, if you didn't see it, and I don't know why you're watching this, if you haven't, go back, go watch the entire series. In the last episode, she had taken on her own form of Soriaclis, the general of the Dino Demons, and gave the order for all Dino Demons to come here and fight back against Leviathan and all of his minions. And I would actually been not wrong in thinking that well, she's no longer in her Soriaclis form, so of course it makes sense for the demons to no longer obey her or even care about what she said. But no, they're actually still fighting. That is badass.
Capri
Okay.
set down his weapon and returned to healing. It seems your dinosaur demons have arrived. Let us just hope Zuphiathan doesn't give them new orders. Unless a demon has reached a certain level of strength or gained some sense of consciousness, it will simply act on the last order given, or default to the purpose it was created for. Thankfully,
True.
my brothers and sisters still have Zuphiathan sufficiently distracted. He got emotional
very
once
good.
again, seeing his angel and demon siblings working together to face the demon general. He continued, They just have to keep him that way until Arava calls in whatever this backup is she referred to. Viv's mind was leaping between thoughts and must have shown as anxiety on her face. Capri said, I'm sorry I can't heal you faster, Vivian. You deserve the feeling of redemption that comes with victory today. Vivian sighed, but
Shit
smiled
happens.
softly.
It's okay.
Honestly, as much as I'd like to still be fighting, I don't think I need that to feel redeemed of my past. I think a part of me used to consider the guilt I felt for what I did when I first got my demon powers to be necessary to push me to do good things. A nice side benefit of learning to feel and release my fear and pain when transforming into demons is I've also been able to let go of most of my guilt and see that even without it, I still feel really driven to do more good. Maybe at a certain
I
point.
mean, that is a good thing. You shouldn't need an excuse to do good things. And while an excuse helps your actions, it's better to just do good because you want to do good.
I did need it, but I know I
No, you
don't
don't.
now.
You're doing
I
good.
don't know what Arava is doing, and I really hope it's not something stupid.
Oh yeah,
But
no,
the
it's
fact
it's
that I was
definitely
able to
stupid.
help inspire her to turn her life around is probably one of the things I'm proudest of. I still meant what I said to her. She is redeeming herself. I can't do that for her. But helping her see that that was really something she could do, I, I guess I was really helping convince myself in the process that I could be redeemed, but it feels even better knowing that I may have actually done that for someone else too.
And
I
that's very
honestly
good.
think it'll be more meaningful to Arava for her to be the one to end this whole thing. She needs it more than I do, and her winning this fight for us will feel to me like I was still a big part of it. I've gotten what I needed out of this situation, so I don't know, I guess this is her story now.
One thing that is a little sad about this is that we're not going to be able to see what her transformation looks like completely. We're going to only see this, like, mid transformation.
Also, I'm not gonna lie, it does feel really cool how my bones are shifting and popping back into place as you heal me. Capri chuckled and smiled proudly at Viv as he continued healing
Very
her.
well.
Meanwhile, with the Demonatrix in her chest, Arava floated down to Tamika and Jax, who were distracting the mole demon as Betsy and Bobo got up behind it for a killing blow. Bobo's silver saxophone smashed through its spine and it burst into a
Wait, a silver saxophone? Is the dude a jazz player? Is he just being a bald down there? Oh, just inspiration! I'm sorry. I'm not picking fun. It's just, he's using a damn instrument. Even Clayton had a sword, God rest his soul.
plume of ash. Both Bobo and Betsy pumped their arms excitedly. Phew, that there felt real good, like a grown-up version of bursting a pinata. Bobo cheered. Both he and Betsy ran over to Jax and gave him high fives. Betsy said, Thanks for the pointers there, Mr. Jax. You're a right clever coach. A huge swell of pride came over Jax,
Well, thanks,
making
man.
him almost tear up. Before that happened,
That's all.
though, Arava landed next to Tamika. She quickly said,
Commander, I need to use one of the multiverse watch thingies.
Tamika looked down at the dominatrix in Arava's chest and gripped her shotgun tighter. Where'd you get that pretty little gem, Powerpuff Ghoul?
Vivian's hurt and can't use it for a while. Look,
Yep.
I know you wouldn't trust me to wear it. I know it probably seems like I stole the dominatrix and am trying to bail to another dimension. So you...
Hey, one quick thing. I did kind of just do a little peek here down at the ball, and it looks like we actually will get to see what the transformation looks like complete. You know, I know a little bit of a spoiler, but I didn't look too far into it. All I saw was the outline. I didn't see color or anything like that, and I can't really see small details. What's in that mode? Let's shut up and
don't even
go.
have to take the watch off. Just please let me use it to call Dresden.
Tamika looked her up and down confused, but more curious than anything. Tamika had heard the story of how ruthlessly Arava had betrayed her former friend. She shrugged and scrolled through the watch's menus to call Professor Dresden Oakland. Arava's hands were quaking, and part of her thought Tamika was moving intentionally slowly just to let her anxiety build more and more. The last time she'd spoken to Dresden, she'd very proudly revealed to him that she'd just been using him when they'd been friends. She had told him how sad it was that he actually thought she'd ever cared about him. She said that to an already lonely and unhappy person. The fact was,
Arava.
it wasn't even true. Even if she
That
had
was
been
kinda
using
cold.
him for a lot of their friendship, she had still genuinely considered him a friend. Part of her was almost glad she might not live through what came next. It would mean she didn't have to face up to him in person. The shaking had moved to her entire body, and she was starting to regret this decision more and more, but she couldn't back out now. Vivian needed her to do this. Her whole world needed her to do this. A hologram image of Dresden's face appeared, and Tamika spoke to him first. Commander Wiggins, I apologize, but this will have to be quick. We are still deep in conflict with one of Psycho Paradolic's demon generals
Psycho Parallax, that's the guy's name. The Techno Demon.
and its army. They are faring far better than others have in the past. She nodded. Fair enough, we're in a pretty big battle ourselves. A demon general just outed demonkind to the world, and we're dealing with that right now. But I don't actually know how quick this'll be, because this call was a request from an old, from someone you know. Tamika turned her hand and
What do you
lowered the
say,
watch towards
friend?
Arava. Despite it being
Kinda
through a
difficult.
hologram image, she was initially petrified when she first locked eyes with her stony-faced old friend. Before she could bring herself to say anything, Dresden spoke. Arava, Kush Mara told me you were working with some members of the coalition. Why is it you've called? She was still frozen. Every
Go on.
horrible thing she'd done
Speak.
flooded back in, and she started to wonder again if anyone ever could actually consider her to be redeemed. Maybe dying heroically was the closest she could ever get. Finally, she spoke.
That's what I'm seeing.
As Dresden, I know I owe you a way, way longer apology than I have time to give right now, but we really, really need the Reaper here. Zuphiathan is getting more powerful every second.
So why not call her? Dresden asked very plainly.
You really think she'd take a call from me?
Fair point.
Plus, I know I was lying to you for most of our friendship, but I still do sort of miss you. I know you'd have no
Yeah, a
reason
small
to
bit.
believe me when I say that, though, so... look, I'm in no position to be making deals with anyone, but if you bring Alexis here to help us, I'll turn myself in to the RAS Foundation.
He paused and
okay.
did his best to scan her expression. She could tell he was looking for any hints of deception. She was telling the truth, but this was only Plan A, and given his allies were busy in a conflict with an Archon's forces, she knew Plan B would be more likely to work.
Psycho Parallax. Right.
As Arava anticipated, Dresden said, That is a very tempting offer, Arava, but as I said, we are contending with very dangerous forces of our own at the moment. As much as we'd like to help with every threat our acquaintances face in other dimensions, our priority is on the multiverse-spanning threats the Archons are creating. We need Alexis here.
Don't worry, I
Arava
can help.
nodded.
Click.
Plan B it was.
I get it, but if Alexis were to kill Psycho Paradolict, all his forces you're fighting would die, right? A kill from the Reaper wipes out all a demon's minions along with them.
Oh.
Dresden nodded.
Okay.
Yes, but we're not.
I see now why he's requesting him. One strike to Leviathan kills him, kills all animal demons.
Sure where Psychoperdelict is. We are
And possibly dino demons.
contending with a general of his. Arava glanced down at the Demonatrix in her chest.
He's here, so come get him.
Arava hovered back up into the air away from Tamika.
Oh
As Arava's
boy, here we
body
go.
started to transform, it was like all the pain she'd caused other people in her life was swelling up in her mind and body. She just allowed it in. She didn't want to die. She finally had real friends, ones she wasn't lying to. In occasional moments, she had actually started to think she could redeem herself. The more time she spent around Viv, even around Capri and Jax, the more she believed that could happen. But she still worried that was all false hope.
I really don't want her
Feeling
to
all
die.
this physical and emotional pain churning up as her body shifted and warped and grew extra limbs made her think that maybe this was ultimately the best she could hope for. If she was going down, at least she would take an Archon with her. She had floated up
If
above
that actually works, damn, you called it. If that doesn't work, damn, you
where
wasted
Leviathan
it.
was fighting. Vivian could see her now too, but likely didn't recognize the new form she was taking on. She had 4 arms and skin that looked almost like a suit jacket with a tie. Her head transformed into an old-timey television. Soon, she felt his consciousness come in, and Arava lost all control of her body as the Archon demon, Psychoperdelict, uttered his first words.
Whoa, 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 whoa. I've been having a lot of new experiences since taking on physical form, but this one is a doozy. Where am I?
Oh.
Who are you demons?
Crap.
Wait. I'm in D667, aren't I? And who's here in my head with me?
Inside Psychoperdelict's head, it was like Arava was standing right before him, with the Archon demon towering over her in a static-coated
Psycho.
void.
Well, if it isn't Fear herself. Long time no see. Still alive, eh? Good on you. But, how exactly did you summon me here? If I recall correctly, I left you with little more than the power to float and make menacing spaghetti shoot out of the ground.
He raised
Damn
his
you.
hand and
Don't
she
make
knew
me
he
laugh,
was about to
bastard.
flip through her recent memories. The second he did
Talking about the Archon, not the,
that, the game was up. She quickly answered to stop him.
I used the Demonatrix. It's a gem I made when I still had all my powers. It lets the user channel any demons I've made, or that my demons made themselves. Thought you would have remembered that from the last time you invaded my brain. If the gem's user is strong enough, they can control the demon they channel. I went looking for it the second after you betrayed me.
Psycho
That
glanced
is
down
true.
and eyed the green gem at the top of his tie. Being in his head, Arava could feel that he was genuinely displeased with the device's existence. It made her a bit happy to sense that.
Demonatrix, eh? Can't say I like the idea of someone being able to just call me in anytime they feel like it. But what, did you actually think you were gonna be able to control me? Come on, Fear, even you're not that crazy.
Arava hoped Alexis would be there soon, but in the meantime, Psycho could still be
She's definitely thinking, no, I'm not that crazy. I know to try to fight your mind and would destroy my own. So I'm just using you as bait.
useful to her.
Stop calling me that. Fear herself isn't who I am anymore. And I don't think I need to control you for you to do what I want here.
Before Psycho could answer her, a claw
Ooh.
clamped around his waist and pulled him down to the roof of Union Station. Psycho was in control of the body, but Arava watched through his eyes as he came face to face with Zuphiathan.
Oh,
Well,
ooh,
would
ooh.
you look at that, I'm already getting the attention of one of the Archons? You'll have to forgive me, I didn't have time to do my hair, but it's nice to meet one of my more impressive little brothers.
Little brothers, huh?
Wait. So the Archons were created after these generals? Huh. No, I guess that technically makes sense. And it's because Psychopalix, stole Arava's powers. So I guess it would make sense. It would have gone the Archangels, the Generals, then the Archons. And then this story.
If you know anything about me, Chunko, you know I've existed since nearly the dawn of this multiverse, so rethinking your phrasing there could be beneficial to ya.
Zuphiathan chuckled.
You've only been in physical form for what, 6 months? How's about you bend the
It's really only been 6 months, dear God!
knee and let a seasoned professional teach you a thing or two, young blood?
Psycho thought to Arava.
So, let me puzzle this out. You summoned me knowing you couldn't control me, but thinking some two-bit hippo who's clearly causing big problems for your world would goad me into killing him because you don't have the firepower to do it yourself.
Arava just shrugged.
Damn, you're smart.
Zuphiathan then said,
Tick-tock, Archon. I'm busy here, and frankly, my power levels are getting so high that I'm already questioning if I need you or if I should just take you out right here to show all the demons watching across the world who the real king of demons is.
Oh, shit.
Psycho shook his head.
You're really something, you know that? You ever heard the phrase, what's a king to a god?
Zuphiathan laughed.
And then there's also the answer reply of, and what's a god to a non-believer?
Is that what you think you are? Someone took a few too many bites of Pride Flakes this morning and is a little full of
Pride
himself
Flakes.
now, huh? I tell you what, Archon, I'm getting a little tense in the feet from all the angel rump kicking I've been doing today, so if you promise to give my feet a good rub after this battle is over, I'll let you jump right up the ranks to being one of my demon generals. It's not being a god, but I'd say it's the closest you're ever really gonna get.
Oh,
Psycho
this
just
is gonna
looked
be
at this
good.
demon, baffled. He thought to Arava,
Wow, he actually is insufferable enough that I'm willing to be your little deus ex arcanica here. Brava,
Ex Arcanica.
Arava.
Okay. Okay, well, yep, so he was crazy enough to do it. So he pulled in a living Archon. Crap ball.
Psycho twirled his top right hand and a cane appeared within it. He swung at full force and smacked Zuphiathan hard enough to spin all the way around and nearly tumble off the building. His clawed tail released Psycho, who gracefully landed on the roof, straightened his tie, and walked towards his foe.
Here we go.
You know, usually I let my demons do my fighting for me, but you're a special breed of bothersome, so I'll gladly handle you myself.
Zuphiathan spun back around and lashed four tails.
You know, even though we all pretty much hate Psycho Parallax here, oh, I can't hate his character design. A dude is snazzy as all hell. I cannot hate it.
Towards Psycho. The first one
I
to
can hate him. I can't hate the art.
get close was simply batted aside with the back of the Archon's hand. The next, he caught, grabbed with two hands, and ripped in half. He snapped his fingers and his own tendrils burst up out of the roof, these ones looking more mechanical than Arava's, and all of them had cameras and microphones at their ends. They binded around Zuphiathan's other tails and pinned them all down, far more successfully than Arava's tendrils had. Psycho stepped on top of them and balanced effortlessly as he walked along them towards Zuphiathan. The demon general tried and failed to yank his tails away.
Okay.
When he realized
Okay.
this was useless, he lashed his frog-like tongue towards the Archon, who easily caught it and yanked the demon general's head and whole body towards him. Zuphiathan leaned into the pull and lunged forward. He snapped his jaws onto the Archon's arm. Arava winced inside his head, noticing that actually did hurt the Archon a little. On the outside, Psycho didn't show it. He simply patted the demon on the head.
Oh, what's the matter? You
That's
hurt your
impressive.
teeth taking a bite out of a much, much bigger fish?
Zuphiathan swung both arms up towards Psycho, but the Archon caught both, yanked backwards, and ripped both of them off. The general let out a cry like a wounded elephant, and the Archon pulled his arm away and shook off the green saliva from it. Zuphiathan tensed his entire body and a pulse ran through him down to his tails that
Oh,
shook
boy.
Psycho's tendrils holding them. Zuphiathan tried to yank his tails away, but Psycho just binded around them even tighter.
Trying to get back in my good books by giving me a little massage? I think we're well past that point now.
Yeah, kill him.
Zuphiathan chuckled.
Oh, I think we might still...
Take your sweet time killing him though, because we are waiting on one more person. And they should be here soon. So if you can take your sweet time... Oh, he's already dead. Crap.
be able to work something out. How's about if I invite you over to my place for dinner?
A black void opened in the air beside Psycho Perdelict. Zuphiathan suddenly sprouted another tail that shot like lightning towards the Archon to knock him inside. Without even looking, he caught the tail with two hands.
My schedule's a little tight for a hangout in your surely lovely abode, but I
Gotcha.
suppose I could at least
Heavy.
poke my head inside and look around.
Psycho Perdelict leaned over and the top half of his body briefly vanished into the void. Suddenly, Zuphiathan's body started to glitch and twitch like he was made out of TV static. Flaking ash started spilling off him. He choked as if trying to speak, but nothing came out. Psycho pulled his head back out, and Zuphiathan gasped and coughed as the glitching faded.
Not a bad place you got there. It's little more than a studio apartment compared to my own home, but you've dressed it up nice enough, I suppose. Anywho...
Psycho then released the grip of his tendrils and grabbed Zuphiathan with all 4 arms, raising the demon above his head. Arava could feel that this actually took more effort than she expected for an Archon. Still, Psycho leapt up into the air with the hippo above him and hurled him straight down into the street, smashing him through the pavement into the sewer waters beneath. One of Psycho's tendrils slid under his feet and lowered him towards the ground, where Zuphiathan was slowly getting up.
Oh, you know what? Call me Poison Ivy rubbed against a dwarf's leg, 'cause I think I've been a little rash here. You are a bit tougher than I thought, so
I'll give that joke a 2 out of 5.
maybe you could work alongside me as an equal.
Wow.
The Archon replied as his tendril lowered him right in front of the demon, who is now back on his feet.
You are something special, Flappy Mouth. I'm almost tempted to make you one of my demon generals just because of how deliciously insufferable you are. But what the heck, I'm feeling generous today, and I did take Fear herself's powers away, so I guess I'll go ahead and do what she brought me here for. Sayonara.
His tendrils burst up from the crumbled ground and waters below, wrapped around Zuphiathan and held him in place. The Archon then grabbed the demon's head, and with a single forceful yank, tore Zuphiathan's head off. His body slowly started to crumble, as Psycho Paralict daintily held the demon's head in front of him.
Yeah, no, I was right. He did that way too damn fast. We're screwed. Where's the Reaper?
And there ended the tale of whatever your name was. Any final regrets, big guy? Like maybe condescending an Archon demon?
Zuphiathan's head, surprisingly, let out a chuckle.
Oh no, no regrets here. Not thrilled about dying, but I basically left the party early and chucked a stink bomb in the living room on my way out. I may not be here to see what happens, but everyone's gonna remember what I did.
Weirdly, Arava knew exactly what he meant. Demons had still been revealed to this world, and that was going to affect the sanity and safety of everyone here for as long as demons existed.
Forgot about that.
Way more people would know to be afraid of them now, and that would just make even the weakest demons much stronger. Plus, even with him dying, his demons would keep acting on their last order. Arava couldn't change out of this form into Zuphiathan's to give a new order, while Psycho Paralict was in control. Zuphiathan's head floated off into ash, but her world's problems were far from over. Arava was desperate to know where Alexis was. Even if Dresden hadn't believed her, Tamika should have told him by now that Psycho Paralict was in fact here.
So, is that all you wanted me for? Because if so, now what's left to do is to have a little chat about this Demonatrix.
Hey, you know what's the right thing to do, Arava? Get him the hell out of here!
I hope you were at least smart enough to know that I wouldn't let you keep it after this, Fear.
Son of a bitch!
Psycho said to Arava back in the glitching void that was his head. Arava didn't know what to do. All she could really do was stall.
I said to stop calling me that. And you know what, Psycho? As much as I hated you after you betrayed me and took my powers away, funny enough, even if I do still want to see you fry for it, I'm actually grateful you did it now.
Oh, really? I can't tell if you're just saying that to try and make me regret it, or if you really do mean it, so please, do explain.
After a certain point, even though part of me did think I was doing the right thing, making demons to force people to face their fears, deep down I felt like nobody could actually genuinely care about me again. That was why I never really let Dresden in, why I distanced myself from even the angels who turned into demons to join me. If you hadn't taken my powers away, I never would have met someone who showed me that there are people who could look beyond my past and let me at least try to be a good person in their eyes. And, I mean, I'm still a bit of a mess, but a mess who's trying, and who occasionally has some good ideas about how to do good.
Right, sorry to pause. I just kind of realized something. The only reason why Vivian was able to get her own Soraclus form is because the demon was dead, so there was nothing stopping her from taking the power and form that she desired. And because Psycho Paralix here, is not dead, fear is not in her own custom form of him. Right, damn. I really hoped he had gone with the other techno demon, the one that actually
Before
is
Psycho
dead.
could
But
respond,
okay.
he and Arava felt excruciating pain. Coming out of their head, they both looked down through their shared eyes to see half a smoking purple scythe piercing through their lower torso. Psycho's head
Thank
turned a
you.
full 180 to see Alexis Jones, aka the Reaper, floating behind him with her hovering, colorful rings around her head. She ripped the scythe out and slashed it across Psycho's back. Arava felt that pain as well, but also had the frightening realization that it could take a lot of similar blows to actually kill Psycho. And even if Alexis did succeed, Arava was going with him. It pained her to know that she
2-for-1
likely
package.
wouldn't get a chance to say goodbye to Vivian. Psycho leapt back onto the street and casually walked backwards away from Alexis, but as he did, a streak of purple light shot towards him from the side. He snatched a demonic fist coming for him right out of the air, but a tail swung up and smashed him in the face. It didn't hurt as much as the Reaper swipe, but Arava still felt it. Psycho raised the figure up so both he and Arava could see Kushmara Naroi in her full demon form, taking
Kushmara!
another swing
Yes!
at Psycho's chest. It struck hard enough to make them all slide backwards, but the Archon had braced for it, and it barely hurt. He hurled Mara forward and saw that Dresden was there as well.
Ooh,
Ms. Jones,
ooh,
I feel
ooh.
it is my responsibility to inform you that I believe Arava brought Psycho Perdelict here by using that green gem at the base of his tie to channel his body and consciousness into her own.
That
She
is
told me
correct.
of that device when we were allies. Arava knew the current Reaper had some hang-ups about killing anyone with a soul, which Arava knew she had. But for this plan to work, Arava had to hope that Alexis would still hate her enough to overlook that.
If you could get control for even 5 seconds, that should be enough time and to tell the Reaper, forget about my soul, forget about me, strike us down right here and now before he can do anything else.
Out loud for everyone, Psycho said,
Well now, I'm impressed. I haven't even been here 5 minutes and already fear has tricked me into killing a demon general for her, and apparently lured me into a trap. Above all that, she may even be going for a self-sacrifice moment, just to take me down. Color me impressed, but I need the whole story. Give me a second here.
Arava could then feel Psycho dig deeper into her mind, scanning through all her memories from the past few weeks, and linking back to when she'd created the Demonatrix, so he could learn more about it. She hated the invasion into her mind, especially by Psycho Perdelict, but with Alexis there, her plan was already pretty out in the open anyway.
Okay, now I see it all. Our little fear herself really is growing up, it seems. Only took 700 years for her to start, but better late than never. Why don't you come out and chat with all of us, huh?
Psycho Perdelict snapped his fingers and 3 floating orb-like projectors appeared. They activated, shining towards the same spot on the ground, and Arava was suddenly standing next to him, or at least felt as though she were, in a hologram projection of herself. This just made her that much more uncomfortable, knowing Kushmara, Alexis, and Dresden could all see her.
I mean, damn you.
So, Fear, what are we doing here? How is it that you wanted this to play out, Come on now, speak up for the whole class to hear.
Turn to the Reaper. Immediately say, kill us now before he can do anything. And go, forget about me. Kill us. Say
Arava
it.
was terrified to speak, with the eyes of so many people she'd hurt on her. She knew if she didn't start speaking now, she never would, so she spurted out.
Alexis, please, just kill him. I know that'll kill me too, but I'm fine with it. I'm not strong enough to control his body, but I may at least be able to make it a little harder for him to fight back.
Oh, that is adorable that you think you'd be able to have any real impact.
As Psycho spoke, one of his own hands swung up towards his face like he was about to slap himself. The hand stopped, as did his words. He turned the swing into looking like he was combing back the sparking antennas on his head, but it was clear to everyone that Arava had done that.
See? With me in here, you might have a chance to finish off an Archon, and that'll kill all the demons you were just fighting in another dimension. Please, just do it.
Alexis just seemed to be in shock. She stared at the Archon, and Arava could feel there was some genuine concern churning in his gut. The more Arava started to think this could actually work, the less she wanted it to, but she knew it was the right thing.
Arava, wait, please, don't do this.
Vivian's voice shook Arava, even when heard at a great distance. She and the others looked up to the edge of a 4-story building nearby. Capri had moved Vivian to the edge of the building and was still working on healing her. Her head was barely visible and just barely turned enough for one eye to be staring down at the scene below.
Arava, don't do this. You've been doing so much good lately, but you can only do more good if you're actually alive to do it.
Arava choked as she said,
I know. I'm sorry, Viv, but even if I lived 1,000 more years, I'd never be able to do more good for the multiverse than helping kill one of the Archons that are only here because of me anyway. I'm sorry, but this is the best good I'll ever be able to do.
Unfortunately,
even if
that is
neither of
true.
them liked it,
Shit.
Arava and Vivian knew she was right. Psycho suddenly interrupted.
Oh, the delicious drama. If it wasn't for the fact that it would mean I could lose my physical form, I'd actually want to see this play out the way you're suggesting, kiddo. But how about I throw another tasty little wrench into the mix, hmm?
Oh crap.
He tapped the green gem at the top of his tie.
I'm impressed by the fact that this little trinket was actually able to channel one of us Archons, but I'd also like a little insurance that it'll never be used on us again. And since I can feel how desperately Arava here wants revenge on me for taking our powers away, how about we make a little deal with the Reaper and all your favorite people as our witnesses?
He gestured to the others, all
Okay, I'm not wanting the deal, but I am curious of it, so speak.
standing by anxiously.
Why would I ever trust you enough again to make a deal with you?
Arava said, feeling some hypocrisy in her own words.
You don't have to if you don't want to. Instead, we can see how this little plan of yours plays out. Maybe the Reaper kills me. Maybe she doesn't. Maybe in the battle I get a little vindictive and kill your surrogate big sis Vivian there. Then gut that Jax fella from your memories and all the angels. I'm game for that if you are. I think you really do want to listen, though, because, like I said to the hungry, grumpy hippo, I'm feeling generous today.
Like I said, I'm curious.
On my end, before I let you take your body back, now that I'm easily the highest-ranking demon in this realm, I will send out a mass order right now for every demon in this world to take an in perpetuity power nap. Some of the more powerful and stubborn ones won't listen, and any with a soul of their own shouldn't be affected. But it should significantly reduce the number of demon attacks in this world. With a demon as powerful as me giving that order, even demons who answer to a specific demon general likely won't take new orders to wake up and get back to killing, unless I were to give them. Plus, what the heck, I'll even call off the attack happening right now in Dimension L451 that the Reaper and her buddies are struggling so much to get under wraps.
Damn it, that's actually a good deal.
Arava looked over at Alexis, who seemed to be holding back eagerness for this to be true. She looked at Dresden, and he seemed just as skeptical as she felt. She turned back to Psycho.
That sounds way too good to be true. Either that or our end of this deal is something there's no way I'm willing to do.
He shrugged.
I said I was feeling generous, kiddo. All you have to do is guarantee that you nor anyone else ever use this funny little device to come after me or channel me or my siblings Romillisect and Kaijagrax. That means you better keep an eye on this thing and whoever is using it.
Kaidrax, kind of forgot about that guy, the kaiju demon.
Because if someone uses it on one of us three, I return here and I don't just wake up all the demons I put to sleep, but I bring an army of my own and watch as this world tears itself to shreds.
Arava hated the idea of never getting to come after Psycho, and he knew it. It was
Damn it.
oozing off her, and he was clearly loving drinking in the feeling. Even still, the deal still felt too good to be true, unless Psycho really was that scared of the Demonatrix. After a long pause, Arava took in the sounds of screaming civilians and shrieking demons. The demons in this world all existed in the first place because of her. She knew the good thing to do here was save people from them.
Actually, wait. Just a question, but if Arava is killed, wouldn't that erase all the demons ever made? And it would also mean no more Copfrey or Psychopelix. None of the Archons or anything. But that is only what I'm thinking. In actuality, it probably doesn't matter if she lives or dies or not.
Even at the expense of missing out on her revenge. Still, being in his head, Arava could feel that there was something else that Psycho was getting from this deal that she didn't fully understand. She angrily asked,
What about the other Archons? What about your leader, Eldrorok?
Psycho grinned menacingly.
Right, our leader. Whoops, I forgot about him, but you know what? I've already written up the proverbial paperwork, so I guess if someone uses that Demonatrix thingy on him, I suppose I'll just have to look the other way.
Damn it, why is this actually a good deal? No!
Arava tried to dig into his thoughts for more information, but wasn't getting anything. She didn't know what his angle was. Maybe he was going for a power grab and wanted Eldrorok out of the picture. Or maybe
Really?
he knew Eldrorok was too powerful for her or anyone with the Demonatrix, and going after him was suicide. Either way, the possibility of still getting to go after an Archon with the Demonatrix, whether Psycho Perdelict was getting something out of it or not, made the deal that much more enticing. Still, she felt this shouldn't just be her decision to make. She turned and forced
Definitely
herself
ask
to make
everyone
direct
else.
eye contact with Alexis. Arava shrugged slightly as if to ask what to do. Alexis gritted her teeth, looking from her to Psycho Perdelict. Having an edge at killing an Archon had to be incredibly tempting for her. Even still, she once again made eye contact with Arava, let her Reaper scythe fizzle into smoke, and nodded.
Fine.
The deal
Call
is
up
made.
the demons here and an L451 right now, and you've got a deal.
Arava growled.
Wait, I need to hear you say it. Say it loud enough for all to hear. I, Fear herself, will never attempt to lay a finger on Psycho Perdelict's pretty little head.
Psycho, you are so egotistical. I would slap you if I could, and I don't even care what the hell you would do to me after that. And And Arava, use your actual name. You ain't Fear herself, you're Arava.
She wanted to try making him
Say your
slap
name with
himself
pride.
again. She hated Psycho so much that she almost felt like she couldn't do it. That was when she thought about the feeling and releasing technique Viv had been so successfully using. Arava allowed herself to feel the hate and anger. It was strong, it was there, but she knew she couldn't afford to act on it.
Feel
With a
it?
surprising amount
And
of
let it
pride
go.
in her voice, she said,
I, Arava,
Yes!
never attempt to lay a finger on Psycho Perdelict's dusty, busted head.
He grinned.
Good enough.
He raised his palm to his face and spoke into it. A sound wave shook the ground around them all as he said,
All right, demons of D667, it's nap time. Drop where you are and hope that you're somewhere discreet enough that you're not about to get popped in your sleep.
Across the city, almost every demon passed out instantly. A few stayed up and fighting, but the numbers had dropped from at least 100 to less than a dozen. Vivian felt herself get a little woozy, but also managed to stay awake.
I'm
Psycho
awake.
raised another hand and spoke into it, sending an order to his general in L451 to pack it in. He then allowed a moment for Dresden to call one of the team's allies still fighting in that realm. They got confirmation that the demons were disappearing. At least for now, Psycho was keeping up his end of the bargain. He spoke to them all again.
But this also does mean one thing. Arava doesn't have to die! Yes! Yes!
And there you have it. Now, while I hope I never see you again, Fear, whether you want to believe it or not, I'm happy for you. You actually seem like you might live a good life from here on until you're maggot food, so don't screw it up by coming after me, got it?
Fear herself might have screwed up this deal by coming after you, but Arava won't.
Hell
When someone does finally
yes.
get you, I'll just make sure to find them and have them tell me the story of how they did it in great detail.
Good
Without
enough.
another word and without her starting the process, her body suddenly began the agonizing transformation back to her usual state. It almost seemed like somehow Psycho was making it even more painful than when she turned into him.
Oh, no,
She
most
tried
definitely.
to feel and
Dude's an
release all
ass.
the pain, but just started screaming a few seconds in. She couldn't understand how Vivian did this so often, let alone how she could claim to enjoy it.
So you got
It
used
took
to
a full 2 minutes for her to return
That's
to
all.
normal, and by the time she did, she was exhausted. She knew she should look up to see what Dresden, Alexis, and Mara were doing, but she was too anxious. Alexis had agreed, but did they all think she'd made the right decision? Soon, a pair of boots walked up next to her. She didn't need to look up to know whose they
Dresden?
were. Dresden lowered a
Yes!
hand. That looked quite painful. Arava glanced up, but couldn't bring herself to meet his eyes yet.
Yeah, kinda sucks using this thing.
Well, if it is any consolation, I think what you did while you used it was very effective considering the results. His hand was still
That is
reaching out,
surprising.
so with her own hand shaking, she took it. His stony skin felt cold, but even still, it was as though she could feel a warmth coming from within. He pulled her up, and finally, she looked him in the eyes. She hadn't seen him up close in person in a long
Would it be too much if I asked him to hug?
time. He technically looked the exact same as she'd known him, but felt very different. He was relaxed and calm and genuinely seemed happy.
I want to
He
ask
never
him to
really
hug,
felt
but I
that
feel like
way
it's
when
too
they'd
much.
known each other. He then said, "Now, you mentioned something about a very long apology you needed to give me." Over the next few hours, the
Yep.
hunters managed to finish off the last few demons fighting in the city, and easily took out the sleeping ones. That included the dinosaur demons that had come to help under Vivian's orders.
A shame,
Even
but
if she
has
took
to be
on her
done.
Sorieklis form again, they'd never be much good to her now that they'd been ordered to sleep by an Archon demon. Alexis
Yeah, they
went
would
off to
never wake
regroup
up.
with the rest of her team, but Dresden and Mara both remained to help with some cleanup. As promised, Arava gave a very long, rambling, but genuine apology to Dresden,
That's
then gave
good.
another to Koshmara. Both of them were astoundingly gracious. It almost made Arava feel worse. Part of her wanted more punishment for what she'd done to both of them. While she'd momentarily let go of it out of necessity, she could still feel her own immense hatred for Psycho Perdelict, and felt like Dresden and Koshmara should still feel that way about her. Was it really possible to let go of resentment as much as they seemed to have?
I mean, you literally are trying to become a better person, so yes. I mean, so's Dresden. He literally founded the RAS Foundation. He is wanting to help anyone and everyone that wants to become better for themselves, and not just them, for everyone around them.
Copri finished healing Vivian, then
So,
managed to
yes.
stick his own wing back in place and heal that too, while Viv and Arava reunited on the ground below the building she'd healed on. Vivian gave Arava a huge hug.
Ah,
Arava
there we
felt
go.
so relaxed and comforted by it. But then Viv pulled back and flicked Arava's ear really hard.
Ow!
Oh, hey.
Viv crossed her arms.
You were gonna let yourself get killed without even saying goodbye?
Yeah, well, goodbyes suck. But I may technically have to do one now anyway, I guess. Since I didn't die, technically I should live up to what I said to Dresden.
And go
I
to the
told him
RAS
that if he brought
Foundation.
Alexis to help,
Right.
I'd turn myself into the RAS Foundation. I guess I should go with them. I mean, Dresden also seems a lot different from when I knew him. He seems happy in a way I definitely thought he'd never be. Maybe there is some good stuff I could learn by going to his foundation. I'm sure he'll let
Love
me
it,
visit
yeah.
if that place does allow visitors anyway.
Arava thought Viv would be upset.
The only way this could actually be better is if Arava somehow regains her ability to create monsters, but instead of creating new demons, nightmares, and phobias, she slowly starts to use the power to create dreams, allies, friends, cohorts. Well, it's literally kindness. Maybe she would even be able to change that black and purple form to something of white and gold.
But instead, she seemed happy and almost a bit excited.
Well, I was just telling Copri that helping inspire you to work on redeeming yourself has felt really great for me. It would be pretty cool to help even more people do that.
Arava tilted her head.
Wait, Viv, are you saying...
Vivian smiled and stood proudly.
Let's go have a chat with Dresden and see what the RAS Foundation's hiring process is like.
Yes, 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 yes! Psychophilics, screw you, but thank you, you ass.
Vivian's eyes opened and she
Now, you're probably wondering, what's going on? Here we actually are with 1 month later, i.e., epilogue!
stared up at the stone-looking brick ceiling above her. A smile crept across her face, as it had many mornings over the last month when she first awoke. She rose to a seated position. She closed her eyes and took a few long, slow breaths. She'd had a frightening dream about one of her patients, H974-1, whose name was
Oh, yeah, I remember him.
Aldrich, tricking her into giving him more freedom, only to have him betray her and kill everyone on sight. As she sat there breathing, she allowed the feelings to arise again, felt them, ignored all the thoughts around them, and let them pass. After about 10 minutes, she eagerly leapt out of bed. She got dressed in the clothes her friends had grown accustomed to seeing her wear, with some slight modifications to show off the demonitrix now permanently residing in her chest. She had gone back to her home dimension a few times in the last weeks after starting her job, but this was the first time Jax and Capri would actually get a chance to see the Redemption Arc Support Foundation for themselves.
Hey, that's nice.
She quickly stepped out into the halls, which were made to resemble a medieval castle, but with modern amenities and large windows in every available place to show the sprawling, calm ocean all around them, and other islands with other branches of the Foundation. The walls appeared to be made from large, elegant stone, but if you actually touched them, they were a padded material, in case any patients attempted to hurt themselves or others on them. Vivian made her way down 3 sets of stairs. As she was stepping out onto the main floor, a tall man with blue feathers across his body and a bird beak in place of a mouth and nose nodded at her while he sipped from a coffee mug. Good morning, Agent Viv. She smiled widely at him. Good morning, Agent.
I actually kind of like this. Arava actually gave back the demonitrix, and for some reason Vivian decided to put it on her chest. Do what you want.
Agent Jerry, is Dresden in his office? I just want to make sure the transportation logistics are all worked out for my visitors. I think he's 2 steps ahead of you. I saw him heading to D667-3's room about an hour ago. Viv was excited to hear that. She thanked Jerry and ran through the large double doors out onto the grassy field that extended to a sandy beach. The slow lapping waves soothed her as Viv stepped onto a round platform near the entrance. As she did, a hologram screen popped up that requested she present her RAS agent watch. She stuck her wrist forward and it was scanned. She then said, "Transportation to Site 4, please." In a blink, she
Site
appeared
4,
on another
okay.
island's platform. She ran inside the building of Site 4 and quickly found the patient room labeled D667-3. The door was open, and Viv could hear 2
Arava.
familiar voices speaking inside. You are under no obligation to do so, Arava, but I believe you are ready to finally speak with them. Mr. Tajan and Ms. Fens have known you're here for a while now. Plus, I doubt a visit to the Academy would do much more than inspire you further, Professor Dresden
Probably.
Oakland said in a calm and collected voice.
What, you're already trying to pawn me off on someone else? Trying to send me to high school even though I'm 50 times older than everyone there? Think I'm too much for this place?
Arava said,
I
semi-sarcastically.
just realized her voice doesn't have its signature echo.
Dresden paused before replying. That sounded somewhat as though you were joking, but I want to assure you once again, I am happy to have you here, Arava. Are there elements of genuine defensiveness arising in you at the moment? Arava paused, then sighed.
Yeah, I guess so. Part of me still thinks this place and how I'm being treated here is too good for me. The old insecure and scared Fear herself trying to creep back in, I guess.
What is
It's a
important is
process.
that you are catching her faster every time she takes control. The more you work on keeping your past self in check, the more she'll fade into the distance. Isn't that right, Agent Sabraya? Viv hadn't peeked around the corner, but should have assumed they'd heard her coming. She stepped into the doorway.
Hey guys.
Absolutely. Fear herself has got nothing on Arava. Viv gave hugs to both Arava and Dresden. He had presented research to the agents of the Foundation showing health benefits of being hugged regularly, including stress reduction, pain relief, improved cardiovascular health, and more. As a
Hugging
result, he was
helps
trying to
save
encourage it
lives.
more, but was still very awkward about hugging people himself. Even he had things he was working on improving, but that generally just helped inspire his patients and coworkers even more. Viv confirmed with him that she was good to go on bringing her visitors in. She took Arava out for a walk around the Site 4 beach for a half hour before the time finally came. Then, Viv used her RAS watch and the Site 4...
Oh, look! Oh, okay. A check mark instead of an X. Oh, I don't know why, but I like it.
platform to teleport herself back to Dimension D667, directly in front of the Predator Coalition of Demon Hunters base, which was a more bustling place now that it was a publicly known organization. She arrived to see the smiling faces of Jax and Capri, but also of Commander Wiggins. Viv smiled eagerly. Hey guys! Hi, Commander, I didn't expect to see you today. Tamika put her hands on her hips. You don't work for me no more, so now especially you gotta start calling me Tamika. And when Jack said you were coming, I figured with you off at your fancy other dimension job, this would be the only chance I'd get to see you for a while. Surprisingly, without Viv prompting it, Tamika came in for a hug. She hugged Vivian very tightly to the point of it almost hurting, which Viv really
Good
enjoyed.
hug.
Tamika pulled away and looked Viv in the eyes. Hey, just so you know, I'm glad I was wrong and you were right about the little teen tyrant. Hope she's doing good too. Viv nodded. Thanks, Tamika. I'll let her know. Jax and Coppery stepped up next to Viv and put their hands on her shoulders. She tapped a few buttons on her watch, and soon they were all back outside the RAS Foundation Site 4, with Arava there waiting. She gave them both hugs, then they all headed off on a walk to get caught up. Coppery's updates were especially interesting. My demon siblings have not remained in the public eye, as they'd have many crimes to answer for if they were asked too many questions, but we are all keeping in regular communication and trying to mend our relationships. I am not making any efforts to be in charge of our family, though I am seeing consistent signs of others trusting me to lead our family meetings, so to speak. Well, all of them can be a bit frustrating at times. It is nice to have them all back in my life. My Archangel siblings and I are also directly aiding the Predator Coalition to face any powerful demons that did not succumb to Psychopedalic Sleep Order. Concelia is also trying to help create...
Yeah, the sleeping demons will be an easy kill. Just walk up, stab, walk away. Yeah, the ones that didn't fall asleep, yeah, that's the difficult part.
A technology to detect and locate slumbering demons so they can be eradicated as well.
Oh, hey,
on the chance that an Archon ever does return and decide to awaken the slumbering demons, or something else were to awaken them. I am also regularly requested to do interviews, though have not accepted any lengthier ones. It is strange being in the public eye, but it helps knowing that my siblings are in the same unusual boat I am. All things considered, life is going very well for me. Jax's life had changed for the better too. He told them, even though technically demon attacks are way down, the ones that are happening are often public, and from more powerful demons than we'd usually face on the average mission back in the day. The Predator Coalition has public sites around the world now, and I'm working as a trainer at the main base, but I'm also getting sent out to other places too. I'm doing physical and mental training for new hunters, but also civilian classes to teach people how to handle a demon encounter if they come across one. There's obviously a lot of scared people in the world, but it feels really good helping them learn that they can keep their cool even in a dangerous situation. Plus, I'm making sure to tell people about good demons, and people with demon powers who have control over them. They're popping up here and there around the world, and I'm doing my best to make sure that they get treated better than Koshmara did. Viv was ecstatic to hear how things were going back home for her friends. She had felt a little guilty about abandoning her world in a bit of a chaotic time, but all the good she was doing at the Foundation felt like it more than made up for that.
Of course
Things have moved really quickly here at the Foundation. I'm still technically in my training period, but because the staff is still being built up and I have a proven track record with Arava here, they let me take on 6 patients that I basically just talk to and ask questions to, trying to get them to open up and feel more comfortable to share why they've done the awful things they've done. Sometimes they do seem irredeemable, but unlike when I decided to let Clayton's soul go, I've actually got all the time I need here to keep being as encouraging as I need to be, to help them see another way to live. I'm seeing progress with 3 of my patients, and...
It is a bit of a shame that Clayton is not around to see this, so that he could eat his words, but, you know...
I'm pretty confident I'll get through to the other 3 soon enough. Arava here is still my favorite patient, though, obviously. Viv lightly elbowed Arava, who smirked and nudged Viv back a little bit harder. Both Coppery and Jax looked over at Arava next. Well, Arava, how are things going for you here? She nodded, looking down at the ground.
It's good. It's weird, too. Every day it feels a little bit different being me. It's kind of like I don't really know who I am now. Even my body seems like it's still figuring out what part of me is the real me and what part of me was Fear herself.
Arava's face and scattered parts of her body had started to default to looking like her original tan Polynesian skin, while other parts still had elements of her Demon Queen aesthetic. Her hair would sometimes hang down and sometimes float up in purple viscous slime. She went on.
I spent so long as Fear herself that it's weird waking up as someone else. But whoever this new version of me is,
Just you.
I like being her a lot more than
And
I liked
always
being
have
Fear
been.
herself. And it seems pretty obvious that everyone who matters likes the new me better too.
They all nodded appreciatively at how Arava was evolving. In the brief silence that followed, they all had a moment to realize that they'd all gotten past their fear of never feeling redeemed of their pasts. They realized that redemption didn't
yeah.
come in
Wow.
one spontaneous moment or action. It came by
All of
living
them have
every
been
day
redeemed,
willing to learn how to be
technically.
better, and by living as a version of themselves that was genuinely excited to be good to the people around them.
Wow, that actually is something that is great to point out. They all have technically overcome the fear of redemption. Vivian was afraid of revealing her demon powers and how the world would react. Now, everyone knows, and they don't mind. Arava's making her case as well. Coffrey is rebuilding his family. Hell, Jax doesn't even feel inadequate now.
And to themselves. Fear would always have some place in their lives, but none of them was ever going to allow it to control them again.
You know what? This is a perfect end to the story. I don't know how else it could get better. It's
And
great.
so we have finally reached the end of Fear of the Demon Hunters.
Yes, we
Honestly, I
have.
think the saddest thing coming out of all of this is the fact that Zuphiathan's dead. I tried to think of some ways to keep him around, and I guess he could, at least his voice and some of his personality could come back a little bit. If Vivian uses
Maybe.
the Demonatrix to take control of his body, I can have her use his voice and a bit of his personality traits coming through maybe. But either way, for now, he's dead.
Actually, I just thought of a way. I don't know. You're probably never gonna see it. One way to bring him back, but not have him be permanently back, is because of how strong he was make him like some kind of spirit inside the Demonatrix. Like maybe Vivian and they can make a little chibi version of him pop out to be able to talk to, and he can be a little smart aleck and all of that kind of stuff.
And this series is all wrapped up. Thank you so much to everyone who followed along for this whole series. I really enjoyed making it, and I did also learn a bunch of things that I'm excited about implementing into my next series that I'm planning out. Things that I'm
Ooh,
working
sweet.
into the planning stage to make sure that I can do them better than I did in this series. Because as I've said, no matter how much you like one project, it's always practice for the next one.
That
this
is
series
true.
will also be turned into a book, but I'm not giving any specific timeline of when that's coming because I've learned with Mytholethal and Vigilance that the timeline is always a little bit different from how I think it's going to be. But I'll keep you all updated when
Just make an announcement, never a date.
I know more, when I've gotten partway through formatting and editing, and when I've decided what other art might be in this book. Not sure if I'm going to do bonus art yet, but we'll see what happens. Anyway, besides that, that's all for today, except, of course, for ending this
Ooh, if you did do bonus art, I would have liked to see Clayton's souls.
video on a post-credit scene.
Ooh, post-credit
Now,
scene?
Agent Sabria, I would like to assure you that you are under no
Awesome.
obligation to do what is about to be asked of you. If you feel compelled at all to say no, simply say it, and no judgment will be passed on to you.
Okay, I'll keep that in mind, but if I can help with something, then I'd definitely like to.
What's
The
going
Sharp
on?
Gang has never requested anything from me directly, but, you know, I've kind of been waiting in the wings for a call.
Yes, well, this is not exactly the Sharp Gang coming to you with a request, but a violent, tentative new ally of ours.
Oh.
Well, that's fine too. Though I gotta say, if this will involve me trying Plan S 2.0, I still can't guarantee it's going to work. I mean, I'm sure the
Plan S 2.0, come on.
transformation will work, but I don't actually know if I'll be able to control myself in that form and fight. Oh, darling, don't worry. Oh, whoa! Oh, sorry. Where did you come from? Wow, you're tall.
Please do not sneak up on faculty or patients in my
Ooh,
foundation. I was bringing Agent Sabria to you.
Yes, but you were taking far too long. Now, as I said, not to worry, Agent Sabria. We don't need you to fight. We simply need to know if you'd be willing to use that fancy little device of yours to provide some very alluring bait.
Ooh.
Vivian Sabria will return in Mytholethal Pantheon Reapers.
Oh, this is going to be so epic, but until then, that is going to be the end of today's video, and I hope you all enjoyed. Remember to like, comment, and subscribe for more. Link to the original will be in the description below, and I'll see all of you next time when we flick back on. Until then, this is Fox, signing out. Holy damn, this was one awesome story.